Oh. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tairua-Pauanui Community Board meeting. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Tairua-Pauanui Community Board. Special welcome to Steve, hiding over here. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you again, thank you.
And very good public support here. Welcome to you. Are there any apologies?
Just the lateness for Terry Walker and Gary Gottlieb for attending the opening of the banking hub from the Tairua.
Can I have a mover and a second, please? Yeah. All in favour?
Aye.
Item 1.3, public forum. I'll just remind you, you have 5 minutes to speak to the item, and the board can only respond with questions to clarify the matter. So first up, Joyce Birchall, on behalf of the Walk Tairua.
Where would you like me to go?
Anywhere, so
just not in front of the camera. You can stand anywhere apart from in front of the camera.
Actually, it's gutted to be here again today. We came to the networking meeting with you, talked about the issues for the walkway along the main road to Graham Stream. We felt that we had buy-in from you that this was an important project and that we would be getting some action. We talked about how we could see where costs could be reduced. And then we have this email that Irene has sent on with the comments from the advisory that seems to have not taken into account anything we said to you at all about that. His assumptions are, we think, vastly wrong in a lot of areas. We cannot wait for 5 years to get this walkway done. You know how urgent it is. You know how people walking. And to suggest that we fund it over a 5-year period is just ridiculous. Our guys have had quite a lot of experience in building walkways. I have, of course, but they have. And they have built the bridge over the heavy stream and a large boardwalk there. Some of our people have been involved with coastal walkways for a number of years and built tracks, stock, and quite difficult terrain. This is not such a difficult project as it seems to be made out to be. Even DCDC thought this wonderful footprint with all of the board walking and the support that they've put in there, and that's been a wonderful asset for town, and it really needs to happen. It is suggested that the replacement of the 2-lane bridge is imminent because there may be funding available by this time. That to us is certainly not imminent, and we need to progress the walkway without waiting for that. When the footprint was put in by NZTA, they told us they positioned it where it is so that it gave them room to build a 2-lane bridge there without having to interfere with the walkway at all. And it's suggestion that it will mean that the footpath has to be aligned, and so that's the reason for delaying things. It's just a nonsense as well. Only take a small realignment both sides of the bridge if we had a 2-lane bridge with a footpath there in the future. It is not a big expense, and it could be done very simply. This cost to us of $550,000 are just ridiculous as far as we can see. And we'd like to sit down with him and talk to him about how we see we can reduce these costs. Because there are opportunities. We've initiated, since we spoke to you last time, some conversations with the Turner family about being able to work from their side of the fence. So we don't have all the traffic management costs that we would expect if we were down the main highway. There's lots of ways to make this happen with a willingness to do it. We're just so frustrated that once again we're having to be here to say to you, let's get this done, let's work together and make it happen. And what else? We just can't allow the council staff to keep putting up blocks to stop things happening in our community. You know, it's easy to say no. It's not too hard to say yes. We can work with council staff to make it happen. We're happy to do whatever we need to meet with you, to talk things through with the roading people. But it has to happen before somebody gets killed along that stretch of road. I'll just leave you with some letters, copies of letters that we gave to we sent to Cara Lauder at MZTA about the slumping that's along that road at the moment. I don't know whether you've noticed, but there's 2 areas where the road is washed away, and one of them has got a cone on it. And we've just alerted to the fact that we need to have a walkway along there, so please take that into account when you start seeing that bit of road, so that it doesn't mean that the road can't be sorted out. Those can't still go along there. So I'll leave you copies of that. Thank you. Please, community board, we need your help. We need to get this done. And let's just try and get it to come to a meeting. I'm gutted too that the community, the councillors are not here today, because they have been supportive of this project. And we thought you would too.
Yeah. George, believe us, we're all on the same page here. Councillor Walker rang me last night and he queried that word imminent, whether it's 3 years or 5 years.
Exactly.
Look, I know it's frustrating, but we are wholeheartedly behind this. Have been for years.
Well, can we arrange some meeting with Ed so we can talk to him directly about this?
Sure, I can set that up for you.
Thank you. We'll go to, if we have to, we'll go to Thames. But it's better if he comes here, because we can go down there and walk along the area and just show them what we're talking about. But we need to move it forward somewhere.
Let me agree.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll be in touch with
Thank you.
Thank you, George. David Yeomans, Pauanui Ratepayers and Residents Association. He is presenting on RFS. Land of.
This is not a post-mortem. The papers that you've presented to you today are just about an overview. So first of all, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to read this out. RFS is a big part of Pauanui Ratepayers business, and we are a hub for collection. Often residents come to us because they do not know how to use the website, and they identify us in the street and they will give us a problem, and we will go and file it for them. So Pauanui Ratepayers Association collects a lot of our RFSs. I'll just go through the first part. The background, the portal is much improved to what it was. It is a very simple step-by-step process, and you can get your information into the system very quickly. It has a progressiveness as you go. So if you put your name, email address, contact number, 33% achieved, then you put in your item, goes up to 67. You put your address in and how you're going to be contacted, push the button, and you're 100% gone. There's an auto-generated receipt nowadays, so you end up with a pop-up on your email account because you already put your email in, and it says, thank you very much, and here's your number. The number you get from the auto receipt is quite different to the one which is generated by the TCDC handler of that. So, and there's a question about that, is whether the additional numbers mean there's been allocated to a contractor, and the numbers may represent the contractor. We don't know that. So there is a potential for an unknown quantity there. One of the things that it doesn't generate an acknowledgement of time frame, and I make a recommendation that when that has happened, that it tells people, like the Lagoma process, is that there's a 20-day wait, or whatever service date comes up. That would be just a nice addition, so people reading the auto reply can have in their mind that there is an expectation for a delay, and that's short. That is the norm in business, right? So so far so good. The points that I'm making, there is no service time identification, and there's often a need for the submitter to follow up. Often the person who is assigned the subject in the reply is not identified, and I can understand that why, because you don't want the submitters identifying who the person that's been assigned to and disturbing their workday by following it up, but just saying it's being allocated to a contractor may be sufficient, and leave it at that. The biggest bugaboo that people make commentary on is we don't know where it's gone and we don't know when it's done. Often people will say, yeah, I saw it's done because I went down there the other day and the sign was fixed. And that's the only feedback. So the process at the moment is linear, not looping. So there's no, it's like the Elvis Presley song, return to sender. There is no return to sender. So the attachments A are just a portrayal of the number of items that you can select as to what your problem is. You've got 9 units of identification for TCDC. Council B sample has a choice of 15 references, and another sample has 9 references with 26 sub-references. So if you go to roads, it will go clean-up needed, footpath damage, roadside tree maintenance, street sign marking, or a structure issue. So that perhaps could be facilitated more in the drop-down box of the entry page for the TCDC model, but not knowing how the program is built is problematic. Going to the pretty pictures with all the circles on it, this is the document originated as a TCDC presentation, and the purple circles ask the questions along the way that we, as users of it, don't know. But the bottom line is, as I said before, this is a linear process, not a loop process. Okay, and finally, my expectation and the ratepayers' expectation is hidden in the questions that we want. Request the opportunity for a users group to run through the RFS system live with a TCDC trained person who uses this so that we can have a better understanding, and then we can pass that information on to our group. That we would like the community board to support the notion that the RFS workshops for the ratepayers groups is a possibility. We're only talking about max probably from Wangmata, Potri, Animana, Pauanui, Tairua, Whitianga, small group, and then that the community board support the improvement of end of service to the submitter. So that there's some mechanism that's pushed into the current program that gives a note back to the submitter that it's either delayed, it could be pushed into the long-term plan, for example, or it's been completed. So this destination becomes important. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Yeah, thank you, David. Any other speakers?
Yes.
Joan? Morning.
Good morning. I'm really just here to to try and formalise the letter that I wrote to you recently, Warwick, about our list going forward for the LTP. I wrote to you asking for confirmation that that list will go through intact without edit. And I also asked for the full list of items going forward from list forward to the LTP. I do appreciate that you responded, Eileen, but I feel that this has got to come from Warwick. Directly, I wrote to you directly, so I feel that the confirmation should come back from you, just as part of a clarifying of the process, really. Eileen has confirmed that our list will go through intact, and I accept that, but I would like to hear it from you as well as chair of this board. And I really can't see why there's a need to delay us viewing the full list until October, which is what I...
Well, we don't have a full list. This is still a progress in motion.
Okay.
There is a public...
So will the full list not be formed until
I
October?
wouldn't think so.
We're, as I said in the letter, that just at the early stages, the list hasn't been completely compiled yet. The projects go to the activity managers. So the list will be for the board's direction from October. So the lists won't be completed.
Are we able to view the list as they go forward? Is there added to?
No.
Why is that? I don't, like, isn't, this is a question for Warwick, surely?
Oh, look, your list is our list. There's no secret.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. There is no need.
And we're hoping that the public
lack of
will
transparency.
have some buy-in as well. You know, it's not just the resident ratepayers, it's the community.
Mm.
And I'm hoping they will.
So
you
we're
got
wanting your
list.
ideas. I've got the ones that I got from Facebook post that I put on a while ago.
So
and
it
there
will be
more.
being built,
Hmm.
this list.
That's
Yeah.
how it works, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it's built up from, and nobody's gets shoveled out. Gets put in and then it gets all considered.
Considered by the board or by the council? Like, do you put the full list forward to the council?
Yeah, and then the way I understand it is that it will go to council, their staff will cost
The
us,
full list.
Yep,
So
they will
all
cost
of
it
the
out,
people in the
then
community.
it'll come back to bite us. Because if you wonder, it all affects the rates. It's all about rates.
Yeah.
So we can have this big list, you can have an Olympic swimming pool, you can have whatever, the airfield, whatever. There's a cost. Yeah, no, whatever the public wants, sure, we can put it out there.
I suppose my point is that if the ratepayers and residents are aware of how that list is growing, they can have some input into it if there are priorities, for example.
There is a public, at the end of in the consultation period. If my memory serves me right, there was a meeting last time, it was held down at the school, wasn't it?
All of the whole.
Is this consultation before the draft is written? Because it's being developed now. Yeah. Okay. Well, can we be included in that, please?
Well, you always have been, and I'm sure you will be.
My understanding is that basically we get our input by submitting after the draft is formed.
However, yep, rest assured.
We're not trying to run a secret society.
Yeah, I did think it was a fairly simple request, actually. So if we can be involved in viewing that list along the way, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Welcome, councillors Gottlieb and Walker.
Good morning. Sorry for the bit lateness. We just opened the banking hub. Microphone. It's working. But yeah, Gary Owen here and listening in. Have you got a full board this morning?
Kat's coming in on Skype.
On Sky. Okay. Oh yeah. Yep. We're here listening.
Are there no further speakers to public forum? If not, I'll so move that the Tairua-Pauanui Community Board receives Joyce, David and Joe, speakers.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Are there any items not on the agenda? none. Move and second. Sorry, there's no, just moving on. Are there any conflicts of interest? Item 1.6, minutes of confirmation. The Tairua Community Board, Tairua-Pauanui Community Board received the minutes from the Tairua-Pauanui Community Board meeting held on the 19th of June 2023. Are there any omissions or corrections? Enough. Move in a second, please.
Yeah.
All in favour?
Yeah.
Item 2.1. Request to retain the community board grant for Central Kids Tairua Kindergarten.
We'll take the report as being read. Any questions?
How much was it for, Eileen?
Oh, it was $100.
Okay, thank you.
Let's move in a second, please. All in favour? Item 3.1, the Tairua-Pauanui Community Board Package Work Program 23-24 update. Morning, Georgia.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good.
That's good. I look a little bit different. I have a bit more hair than Andrew Bowden, so I'm just filling in for today. Can I take the report as read? I will note it does look a little bit light on this meeting, and so this is our projects for this new financial year. We will be providing status bars going forward, but just because we're in that initial stage at the moment, it's just an overview of what is coming up for the year.
Yeah, not much.
Yeah. I think we need all the staff.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I do, but we're just opening up at the moment, sorry. We're a bit slow here with the technology.
No problem.
What page is that, guys? It's on
6.
Page 14, Terry.
14. Back. Oh, 14. Here we go. We're getting there. Action schedule. Okay. So I'm just requesting that this money is for the next year that you've got on this works program, is that right?
Yeah, so it's for this financial year, so from 1 July to 30 June 24.
Right. Pretty light on most things, as you can see, but is the footpath rehabilitation program in there, is that for work that's planned, or is that just there as a contingency?
I believe it's for a contingency, but I can confirm. I believe it's just they will have a work program, but I'm not sure it's completely defined yet. But I can find out for you where that, if you want specific areas where they correlate to.
Right. And the harbour renewals and coastal management officer, what's that all about?
Our coastal management officer, the harbour renewals.
Yeah.
Sorry, was that the question? So it is just more of a repair and maintenance. So anything that they've flagged in the condition reports that need to be upgraded will be up. It's money in there for this financial year, pretty much. So it's very light on, as you can see. But yeah, so it's purely just to renew anything that needs to be renewed.
And the Tairua boat ramp consenting, is that a process just for the consent, is it?
Yeah, that's purely for the consent.
Construction work will be in the 2024 year, is that what you're saying?
Not in the 2024 year, I don't believe. Potentially, I'd have to check with the coastal management officer whether or not there is budget in the any coming financial years, or whether it's an LTP submission for what they're get going forward. But no, it's just to purely renew their consent.
Wasn't it a rollover project from last year or not?
I would have to confirm. Sorry, bear with me. I don't believe so. I'll find out. Sorry, I'm quite fresh to some of this. I'm a fill-in, but I'll find out for you, Terry.
Thank you. And is there any other rollover projects from this year or last year that's falling into this year projects list?
So you've got Tairua Skate Park, obviously, depending on how the results of the hearing come out. So that one will roll through for this year.
So that was held the other day, and I was speaking to Mayor Glenn this morning, and that result should come out today or tomorrow. So we'll have some understanding of where that's going. Yep.
Yeah, but that is the main one. The rest of them are just all your kind of there's no major projects really apart from that are going to be rolling over for this year.
Right. Is that right for you, Warwick? Nothing else rolled over from last year into this year's program?
Holland's Close.
Sorry, what was that?
The Holland's Close stormwater.
The stormwater. I believe that our project manager on that job has completed everything that they had with the budget that was projected for the 2023 year, but the rest of the construction work is going to be considered in the LTP.
So
Didn't we have an end date for some of that work before the 30th of June? Was that completed?
Yeah, so everything, so I've got a little note here. So the channel works have been completed, and the works to the left of the bank will be completed in early August. And then the Mount Ave works were deferred in the annual plan, and then the construction is to be considered in the long-term plan.
Can I ask also how the consent for the dredging and the harbour is going?
Oh, I would not know that, unfortunately, but I can follow that up and come back to you with that.
The Tairua-Pauanui public convenience renewals.
Yep.
Where are we? Is there a timeline on that?
Sorry, which one was that?
Second last item on the work program.
It's got Tairua Surf Club, Tairua North, Corey Right Domain,
Yep.
Surf Club, blah, blah.
Yep, so we'll be able to provide kind of where they're at for this works in our next meeting, as they've only just started. They've only received this obviously starting in July. So I'm not too sure where they're up to with progressing all this, but I can definitely find out, and you guys will have an update on the status of all of these come next meeting.
Are these TIF funded projects?
Sorry?
Are these TIF funded projects?
Not that I'm aware of.
Tourist New Zealand infrastructure projects?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm happy to find out for you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
the bank work actually been done.
Warwick, just a couple of things for the chair I can add to the work program.
Go
Is
ahead.
that okay, Warwick?
Yep.
Yep. So just in terms of the consents for dredging, and there was some questions raised at the last board meeting about that. So Jamie has confirmed, and I think an email has gone out to the board, and also the Residents and Ratepayer group that was interested about the global consent. So the global consent is in relation to a number of small elements around the harbours, not including the larger dredging components. So the larger dredging components and the Bayview Terrace seawall, those consents were being worked on last year, and they continue to be worked on. So they're on track.
So if I could just ask the question, why aren't they in the work program if they're part of this year's program?
because the applications have already been made, Terry, and they're already being progressed, and we expect to have them shortly. So they haven't made it into this work program because they're substantially complete. We're just waiting on the outcomes of the resource consent decision.
Okay.
And so that was one of the questions raised. Also, I thought it would just be helpful just to touch on the LTP and just give some clarity around some of the timeframes. So at the moment, the boards are going through an information gathering part of the LTP. So in July and August, they're looking at some of the projects that can be initiated. So are the operational teams looking at the projects that are required, the renewals that are required, and so on and so forth. And as we do that, we're seeking inputs, and we're getting inputs from the community plans. We're getting inputs from various groups that are interested, such as the residents and ratepayer groups, and we're bundling all of that together in an initial package. And that's the board's exercise to do. And they may, for example, have a list from residents and ratepayers. They may think it's worth championing all of that. They may think it's worth championing some of that. That's up to the board. Then in October, there will be formal workshops with the boards where they'll look at all of those inputs and try and refine some of those into a bit of a list. And then in November and December, the council will undertake that exercise and do that workshopping exercise. In December and January, the information will come back again that's been worked on by the full council to the boards for the boards to have a look at. Again, the board has the opportunity to weave in different pieces of information from the community plans or from the plans that are held by other ratepayer associations. And then in March and April, the council would decide for the full LTP to go out for consultation. And at that point, everyone is able to submit all of their lists in full, make whatever submissions they feel fit. So that's the process that we're following. We're able to provide some information to the board chairs, to the residents and ratepayer chairs if they'd like to see that in a timetable view or something like that. So I'm happy to email that out.
I got a couple of questions if I can through the chair.
You go, Terry.
So Dean, one of the concerns that groups have got is how much detail are they expected to produce in forming a project? Like if they want to do a simplistic trail or a small project around a community, do they need to provide a comprehensive plan about this, or is it just a simple request, this is what this group desires? What kind of guidance can you give them?
Yeah, through the chair, good question, Councillor Walker. I suppose it's multi-layered. If it's a project that is substantive and it's over a number of years, then really it would be about gaining the support of the board and of council to start investigations for that project and setting some staff time aside to be able to look at the needs assessment and the feasibility of that project before we look at putting it into an annual plan or an LTP. If it's something that's more straightforward, such as the replacement of a toilet block or something like that, then it's likely that council will already know what's involved in that type of project. Therefore, you just need to flag what it is and why it's required. If the boards agree and then the council agrees that that's a piece of work for staff to do, then they'll go ahead and cost that up and do that up. In terms of if it's just an idea at an idea stage, then I would encourage the groups to just provide the amount of detail that would help staff understand what's required and what some of the options might be. So that it can be discussed and assessed.
Okay, good. So that communication could be available for those board members when they talk to community groups. That's great. The other question I've got is that Pauanui sent quite a strong, detailed message to council regarding funding before they put their list forward. That has been lifted or elevated into a Lagoima request that's gone through CE and Eileen. How far down the track has that gone so that they can be considering their needs in Pauanui as well?
So through the chair, if that was a question for me, Terry, I'm not entirely sure of the exact request that the Ratepayer Association have made. So yeah, I may be attached to it, I may not, but that didn't entirely ring bells for me.
So Terry, the Pauanui ratepayers have been in contact with Anna, who are getting their list together, and I have invited the Pauanui ratepayers to attend the 21st of August networking meeting for the board to go through their list with them.
That's good to hear. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just through the chair, I think this is obviously a formal community board meeting, but we do have the informal networking sessions. So it's good for the groups to come along, talk about their ideas to the board in that informal setting, and that way, you know, we can give direction at that point as to, you know, say you've got a list of 10 ideas, there might be a couple there that resonate really, really well with the board, and therefore need to be explored further.
Yeah, I agree with that totally, but this was a request on some information before they could provide that list, so hopefully that's been addressed, and we will hear from the Pauanui group at the right time.
Okay. Any further discussion on the APEX work program? If not, thank you, Georgia. I'll put the resolution that the Tairua-Pauanui Community Board receives the Tairua-Pauanui Community Board CAPEX work program 23-24 and other information updates. Report dated the 10th of July 23. A mover and a seconder, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over.
Aye.
Aye.
4.1 action schedule.
The Holland Street lifting, which is said to, on the action says it's early August. Is it actually being done?
I can speak to that. Yes, I believe so. Our project manager, who is on that role, has confirmed that 2nd of August. Sorry, early August. So he said to me it was the 12th of August they were looking at getting that work completed.
I think that, yeah, the further investigation is required by staff. That's quite a.
This has been going on.
So
that
what-
long. It's not even funny. It's beyond a joke. Because of Pauanui, beginning of the last term.
Georgia, can I, through the chair, ask a question? Georgia, under the action schedule work program, it says that Holland Close is, I'm just trying to read this, Holland Stream improvements, groundwater that doesn't drain due to no soakage, is open. So is that work still under investigation, or is that part of the consent, or is that to be work to be done?
I believe that's work to be done, but I can definitely confirm that for you.
Investigate the street light, Joe. They say here the installation of the street light on the intersection of Tairua-Pauanui and Paku Drive cannot be. That's taken a while to come to Any further discussion on the work, on the action schedule? If not, I'll put the motion. Can I have a move in a second, please?
Yeah.
All in favour?
Aye.
Yeah. Item 4.2. This is read my report. I need a mover and a second to receive the chairperson's report dated 10th of July 23.
Yep.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I see through the chair, if I ask Warwick, you've mentioned in the first sentence about pioneer questions raised in the public forum on the outstanding issues in the community. And that was, I was raising through a letter from the chair of the Ratepayers Association. And that's what I'm hoping that those questions can be answered so they can move forward.
Yep. No other discussions? Oh, pardon me. Item 4.3. To read the public. Yeah, can I have a move in a second that we move into public exclusion, please?
I'll move.
Public may leave, please. Stop recording.
Do you want to do a shut?
Thank you.